Hey everyone, it's Ian again. Sorry, it's been a while since I made my last vlog. Kinda dropped the ball by missing deadlines and everything, and I've just been really busy with school, and it's just been tough. Here's my next vlog, and last time I did it on the new Star Wars canon books and the new continuity, but this time I'm going a step back and I'm reviewing the book Star Wars Darth Plagueis by James Luceno, and it is by far my favorite Star Wars book of all time. It's just super cool. It's really great. I'm gonna make this vlog a lot shorter than my last one, which was like 12 minutes. But anyway, some of the really good things I like about it is that it touches up on a character that you see in the prequels and you see in the original trilogy that is super powerful, and you know, the ultimate Sith being, but you don't really know how he got to this stage. You don't know anything about his history, and I'm a huge guy for lore. I absolutely love lore, and so learning about his past was extremely interesting, and I absolutely loved learning about his master, Darth Plagueis, which is what the book is about. And Darth Plagueis is my favorite Star Wars character by far. He's absolutely fantastic, and I love him. So another thing that I really like about the book, well, is the author himself, James Luceno. I really like his work. He uses a lot of great diction. His vocabulary is fantastic, and you know, every word that he uses, just absolutely, like every word that you don't normally see and you don't really know the definition to, but you end up looking up, it fits what he's trying to say exactly. Whereas other times authors will just like go around using that word or using a highly unknown word, but instead he just uses it, and it makes the experience a lot better. Second, he has a really good sense of political science, and like he weaves in a great political story as well, because a lot of Darth Plagueis isn't really combat. It's not action, you know, like the Bane series is, which I love the Bane series, but it's not a lot of action. It's not a lot of, you know, ton of dark side stuff. I mean, it's really goes in depth about the dark side, which is I'll get to later, but it is really politically involved, in the sense that you see all these political undertones, and you know, and oh, by the way, spoiler alert, I'm gonna be spoiling this book, so if you haven't seen it yet or haven't read it yet, then don't watch this video, because I will be spoiling it. But you know, you see Sidious's rise to power and all the political undertones and the political conniving that had to go down for that to happen, and you see how they're manipulating other people, and how these plans that you don't even realize are happening yet until they're revealed later down in the book, and then you can go back and be like, oh my god, I just watched this, or now that he mentions it, I realize that he's been doing all these things that led up to what is accumulating to this massive plan, or this like smaller plan that leads to massive things. I really like where James Luceno took this book. Everything. I actually got a chance to meet James Luceno at Celebration 7 out in Anaheim, California, if I didn't mention that already. But yeah, he's a really cool guy, humble, super great, super awesome person. And I was even actually able to get this copy signed by him, because I actually had my original copy with me, but I didn't bring it to the convention because I was going to be carrying around some stuff that I bought and everything, and you know, I was there for 10 hours, so it was just, I didn't want to carry it around. But anyway, besides the point, another thing that I really love about this book is that it goes extremely in depth to the dark side. You see the dark side like you've never seen it before in any of the novels. Other novels, it's like, oh, okay, I took control of my anger and I used it to force push, or you know, I sparked like in Bane, it's always about like, I take this little flame inside of me and I create an inferno with it, but a controlled inferno. But in this, it goes much deeper into the underlines of the dark side, how you have to control it, what it's about. And you see Sidious's training, and through this training you learn a lot about the dark side that you don't normally see in any of the other books, and it's what makes it really unique, really cool. You see a lot of special abilities. You see where a lot of Palpatine's refinements come in, and how he trains, and how his personality takes hold in his use of the dark side, and even in the crafting of his lightsabers, which is really cool because you're learning things in this that you haven't learned through watching the original trilogy, that you couldn't learn throughout the original trilogy. And unfortunately it's non-canon anymore, but even George Lucas has said that this is the closest non-canon thing to being canon because of the time that it was written and how closely George Lucas was involved in this book. So yeah, that's a perk. Also, another thing that I really love about this book is the fact that it starts off, you even get to see some of Plagueis' master, Darth Tenebris, which is cool, but it starts off as really from the perspective of Plagueis, and then you'll get chapters, once he starts meeting Sidious and everything, you'll get chapters about how, you get chapters that focus on Sidious, or from Sidious's perspective, and then, and then it'll start shifting, the book shifts, so at first, it's all from the perspective of Plagueis, and then it slowly transitions to be more from the perspective of Sidious, and you start to see plans that unfold that you didn't realize were happening, like I had said, that Sidious had set in motion, even when he was still in his, young apprentice days to Plagueis. Plagueis' whole thing is that the rule of two is no longer, valid for us. I'm immortal because Plagueis harnesses the dark side to control life, and he can even bring back people from the dead, which he does to a rival apprentice that was a secret apprentice of Darth Tenebris, Plagueis' master, that Plagueis didn't find out about only until after Tenebris' death, and Plagueis defeats him, but later on, 10 years later, he's able to control the dark side, to bring him back to life, and to kill him, and then to keep bringing him back so many times, and then to finally just let him die whenever he wanted. It's super interesting to see how, Sidious from the get-go was like, I'm not gonna share power with you, Plagueis. I don't care if you make both of us immortal. I'm not gonna share power with you. But he doesn't admit that, and then only later on you see how this 10, 20 year, for maybe 30-year long plan just unfolds, and towards the end of the book, where Plagueis is killed by Sidious, which obviously isn't much of a spoiler, but still, and it's very intriguing to see the power dynamic play out, and you get to see Sidious's rise to power, which you don't normally, or which you haven't gotten to see at all in the original trilogy, and because of that, I think it's one of the best Star Wars book. It's something that it keeps you interested. There's parts where it gets a little bit boring, but that kind of I can attribute to a little bit political stuff to it. But the times where there is combat, and the times where Sidious is using the Force, and it kind of goes a lot deep into lore, it's really interesting, and it's really cool, and it's great to see how it even intertwines with the movies, because this reveals that in A Phantom Menace, Plagueis was still alive, and Plagueis was still the master, and only at the end of Phantom Menace did Sidious finally kill him. So it's cool to see how in the Phantom Menace, Sidious was still the apprentice. And you also get to see Darth Maul, he's on the back cover, it's a young version of Darth Maul, but you get to see young Darth Maul in Darth Maul's ascent to power, not real power, but his ascent throughout his childhood and into his teenage, adolescence, and I can say he's probably in his 20s, early 20s whenever Phantom Menace occurs, maybe 19, but yeah, it's very interesting to see, especially with the new Rebels finale. Spoiler alert here as well, if you haven't seen Rebels and you plan on watching it, don't listen to this, but you see Darth Maul come back into Rebels, and he's just this old he's a Zabrak, so old Zabrak, but it's really interesting to how everything's intertwining together, and it's overall my favorite Star Wars book. I'd recommend it to anybody who wants to get into Star Wars. It was my first Star Wars book, and it hooked me, and I now have 40 plus Star Wars books, all because of this one right here. So it's a great book, and I recommend it to anybody. Alright, see you guys, and I plan to come out with a lot more consistent content, and even try out some new stuff, some game recording, so look forward to that. Thanks, and see you later.
Thanks for watching that video.
And if you like it, comment, subscribe, and like below.
See you again soon.